versus NC State.
Yeah, I originally also had NC State. I had that upset going down, but I later changed my mind, and I think, you know what? I scratched that. I changed to Seton Hall, but I think I'm gonna make a change. Right? I'm going with NC State. Who do you have?
I have Seton Hall for this one. Actually, I'm not going with the upset because I just think that Seton Hall has played really well this year, and I just really believe that they can pull off the W.
Yeah, I'll back them up there. I think Seton Hall would be a better pick over NC State. I think Seton Hall is a team that's been in tournament every year as an 8th seed. I think they know what they're doing, and I think they're going to win.
All right, Seton Hall consistency there. And now we move to Clemson versus New Mexico State. I kind of am hoping for an upset because I kind of have this like weird soft spot for like New Mexico State.
I totally agree with you there, Spencer. I have New Mexico State beating Clemson because I watched New Mexico State play last year. They are also like the three, maybe better than Wichita State at 3-pointers. Their team's good. They haven't lost anyone to the NBA. I think they're definitely going to pull. I think they're going to pull out the win. But if you guys just want to play safe, I totally understand. But I think New Mexico State will pull this upset here.
All right, New Mexico State there with the win over Clemson according to our bracket here as we continue to fill it out. Auburn versus Charleston, 4 seed versus 13 seed. Looks like Auburn though has a pretty clear win, home of Charles Barkley.
That's a pretty clear win, and 83.4 points per game, and Auburn definitely has the better record. So I'm going with Auburn.
Yep. All right. So Auburn there, and then now we move to TCU versus 11 seed for later. TCU though they're normally strong coming into this tournament, right?
Yeah, they're really strong this year, and I just think ASU has really no chance this year. And I think for those reasons, definitely TCU will win.
Michigan State versus Bucknell. My cousin used to go to Bucknell. But yeah, Michigan State though, normally a very consistent basketball team. I think they're probably going to go pretty far. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Duke and Kansas in the bracket.
I'm going to give this one to Henry Manna to tell me about Michigan State and Bucknell.
Oh, Henry Manna.
Michigan State is going to beat Bucknell.
And that's Henry for you.
All right, there is Henry, and then URI Rhode Island versus Oklahoma. There is it.
Henry, URI Oklahoma. Who do you think will win?
Oklahoma.
All right. That's very succinct, Henry. I like it. It keeps us moving along.
Set on to Henry. I don't think he tells. So that's the whole story. But Oklahoma has one of the top seeds one of the top players in the whole college basketball. He's predicted to go 2 or 3 in the draft, and that is Trae Young. I think will catch it up for sure. And Trae Young is very good, and I think that just because of that, when they were on a cold streak, so URI does have a really good chance of winning. I really think Oklahoma will pull the upset here, and yeah.
All right, so then now we round out this bracket side with Duke and Iona.
Henry, what do you have to say?
This is a real pickle.
Is it
Duke?
All right, it's a brave choice, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a bold choice at all. Actually, a nice choice because Iona is not good enough to beat Duke. Duke's always good, just like UNC. It's definitely a win for Duke, and yeah, no question here.
All right, so that we went over a lot of these teams, so you don't have to give too much explanation here as we continue to move down the bracket. We'll start the South again. UVA versus Kansas State.
Virginia for sure. Yeah, they're just a very good team. Kansas State won't be able to compete.
All right, Kentucky versus Arizona.
I'm an Arizona fan. I'm going to Arizona. Let's see what you guys say.
Hudson doesn't have the greens to get to Arizona.
I'm going
with
versus
Arizona is against Kentucky. Arizona's a very good team. They definitely they have the best player. DeAndre Ayton's so good, and I think just because that the win.
All right. That's but do they all agree with you in there, Arizona?
Yeah, we all agree on.
All right. Just don't want your biases get in the way of the Dubs here. But anyway, Miami versus Tennessee.
Well, I definitely saw Tennessee play. They have some great shooters on their team. I definitely think they can pull out the dub.
I agree with him 100%.
All right, and then we see Cincinnati being Texas here.
Honestly, no question, in my opinion. Tennessee surely got a lucky win in the first round, but Cincinnati will definitely pull out the win.
All right. Yeah, so now we move down to we're making some progress here. We got Xavier versus Florida State.
I have Xavier go far, so I'm going to say Xavier win this one.
All right. Now, how about OSU versus Gonzaga?
I had OSU while we started this podcast, but I did change my mind to Gonzaga because I was looking over the stats. Michigan is not. I'm sorry, Ohio State has played, but they're giving their opponents only scoring 75 points, while Gonzaga scoring about 85 points is the highest number in the tournament. So I really think that Gonzaga definitely has one in the bag.
All right, so Gonzaga moving on to take on Xavier in the Sweet 16. That'll be our next round, or the round of 32 is what we're in now. So Houston versus Michigan. That's assuming Michigan win.
Definitely Michigan has this one in the bag. Michigan plays so good in the tournament, and I think here is no exception, and I think we're going to play both enough. Right, Jake?
And then we'll have Providence rounding out UNC there.
Yeah. We'll go over UNC and Providence with Henry.
Now, here's the thing about UNC.
All right.
What fucking Jordan played at UNC? If you were going to tell me that they're not going to win, I'm going to see you in fucking court.
Henry going all out there with that succinct but firm analysis there. I like that. All right, so now we go to
yeah, we'll go to Jake here because Jake's a Villanova fan. Well, I wonder who's going to say.
Yep. Villanova versus Virginia Tech. Jake, who you got?
I got Villanova.
All right. Now we go to West Virginia versus Wichita State. This should be interesting.
Yeah, West Virginia and Wichita State is such a good game. Both great teams that are both in the middle. I definitely
5 and 4.
I definitely think Wichita State will probably win here. Yeah, Wichita State definitely has the W in the bag. They score a lot of points per game. They do give up more points, but they score a lot of points, and I think that's only because of that they're going to win.
All right, so now to Florida versus Texas Tech.
Oh, for sure, Texas Tech on this one. What do you say, Jake?
Yeah, for sure, Texas Tech definitely got some good shooters on this team. Can definitely shoot and have the best record.
All right, so Arkansas now versus Purdue to round things out.
Arkansas is 7 seeds, just like UNC versus Arkansas. There'll be a blowout. Purdue would definitely win the game.
All right, so giving a lot of strength to the Purdue here. Let's see if they'll meet in the final here in the East as we continue. But anyway, now we move to the Midwest, Kansas versus Seton Hall. We'll probably mark that for
Kansas.
Kansas.
Definitely hit W there. Kansas all the way. Kansas.
All right, so then we go to New Mexico State versus Auburn. This is it for New Mexico State?
Obviously, New Mexico State won't make it past the second round. They're just not good enough to be able to make it this far. Auburn to the W. Right, Henry?
If you get down to the semantics of it, it's going to be Auburn.
Thanks, Henry. I appreciate that. You're welcome.
All right, Henry getting down to the semantics for us. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so TCU versus Michigan State, and then Oklahoma versus Duke. Those are 2 games, so I'm assuming Michigan State, and I'm going to mark Duke there.
This is a great team. They have Miles Bridges, who's one of the best players going to go in the draft this year. For sure, they're going to be Michigan State for sure. And then just to make things go quick and fast, Oklahoma's Duke. Oklahoma, I know they're close to win, even though they have one of the best players. Duke is just way too solid with a great coach, and I don't think Oklahoma will win.
And
All right.
This coach definitely has more experience with playing in this tournament and how it runs.
That's great. Congratulations.
All right, so sounds good. Now we go to the top. We restart things at the South. UVA versus Arizona.
I think UVA is a great choice. If you want to take them, I understand. But I had Arizona beating them. I think Arizona really is the second team in the South. They although the fourth, I think they're second, and I think they're definitely going to go pretty far. And I think UVA, it will be a really hard game for them. But if they get them, it will go really far. So if you guys want to pick Arizona, if you want to pick Virginia, that's fine. I understand. It's a great choice. But I went Arizona.
Oh, okay. So Jake, are we down with Arizona here?
No, I got UVA. As you can see from these records, UVA definitely played more games and only lost 2 games, and they played 33 games in total.
Yeah, I mean, although that usually Virginia leads their team with 50 points only, which is insane. Arizona scoring 20 more points than them, and I think that will be the big difference here, that we can just score more and all and have a good defense. I don't think it will help with Arizona, DeAndre Ayton, and Alonzo Trier.
And also, the last 12 games, they're having a hot streak of 11, so they're getting some confidence.
All right, that's quite impressive. I'm gonna put in UVA down there for that. Now we got a tough one. Tennessee versus Cincinnati.
Personally, I think Cincinnati will pull out the victory here. For sure. They're a great team. They got us in the bag.
All right, yeah, we're sticking with Cincinnati. All right, so now we move to Xavier versus Gonzaga.
Okay, well, Gonzaga was the finals team, so they had a lot of experience. But Xavier has been good every year. I think this year will be no exception, and they'll be better than they had before. And that's why I think Xavier's going to beat Gonzaga.
All right.
No words to add on.
Xavier, it is. All right, so now an very interesting one here: Michigan versus UNC.
Definitely UNC here. UNC is just so good. Michigan, although they have experience, UNC has way more experience than probably every team in the bracket. So for that reason, UNC wins.
All right, consistency there with Roy Williams, if he's still the coach in Carolina, if I'm not going crazy.
Yep.
Villanova versus Wichita State. Jake?
I'll get both these games, Villanova, Wichita State, Texas Tech, Purdue. I'll get both these to Dick, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Villanova on this one because I'm a little biased, and I just gotta say that Villanova has looked really strong, as I've said earlier, and I just really believe that they're gonna pull off the W.
All right, so having your faith in your team like that always makes sense, and we got Villanova versus Purdue. So far, all of the brackets that we picked here have been 1-2 for the Elite Eight. So that's interesting stuff about our picking habits. But anyway, so Kansas and Auburn and Michigan State versus Duke. Let's start with Kansas and Auburn. Hudson, what are you thinking?
Okay, well, I'll take these 2 games. Kansas is definitely going to beat Auburn. Auburn does not have the experience. But for sure, Michigan State and Duke, Michigan State will win. I think it's going to be a big upset of Michigan State. Yes. What do you say, Henry?
I completely concur.
All right, that means we got an agreement, and 1 and 3 in the coming out of the Midwest. So yeah, I personally do love Michigan State, and I feel like these kind of upsets always happen.
Real quick. So Arizona's going to beat Cincinnati. I think they got the Cincinnati's no trouble for them at all. Wait, sorry, you don't have them, so sorry. Virginia will definitely beat Cincinnati for sure. It's been Virginia beat Arizona.
Right.
And then I think Xavier will also beat UNC for sure.
All right.
I think Villanova will beat Purdue, and I think Michigan State will beat Kansas.
Ooh, so we got Michigan State going through very, very strong here. And so that brings us to
I'm going to mix things up. UNC will lose to Xavier.
Oh.
Will beat Xavier. UNC will beat Xavier.
UNC will beat Xavier. Okay, so we're going with faith for UNC here. All right, so that makes the Final Four.
Talking to the guys in there, thinking that UNC will win.
All right, so we're conferring here. That's good. All right, so we got UVA versus UNC and Villanova versus Michigan State in our Final Four. So UVA versus
Villanova. I think it will be Villanova. I think it will be Villanova versus UVA in the finals.
That's all I have.
All right, and then so Michigan State with a good run, but not making it past the Final Four, and then UVA versus UNC.
I had Xavier winning. I thought I would mix up your bracket a little bit, so I'll give this one to Jake.
Yeah, I can't really go with that choice. I'd go with Villanova for this one, and